Hello Skillr Boxers. Today we are going to systematically break down Vasiliy Lomachenko's style, understanding the mechanics behind every move, technique and the strategy that makes his high-tech boxing style so effective. Vasiliy Lomachenko, also known as The Matrix, because of his deep understanding of the science of boxing, is one of the most cerebral fighters in the ring.
Nobody beats Lomachenko. Nobody. I mean, I've been in the ring with the man. He's smart. He has so many different tactics that I never even thought of that it's possible.
Lomachenko having gone the distance to brand check and that type of fight.
In body language, Lomachenko now.
Just catching a lot of things that this guy has. He has dirty tactics, he has clean tactics. Overall, he has the experience, and I don't think any of them are ready for that.
If you want to understand every detail behind Lomachenko's game, this breakdown is for you. Now, let's start with the boxing stance. Boxing stance. Lomachenko is a converted southpaw, meaning he is naturally right-handed but was taught to fight from a southpaw stance. A strategic move by his father so he could understand the mechanics of both stances, regardless of the dominant hand.
I think he changed my position because he want teach my head and my half head work the same.
This way, Lomachenko also has his strong hand as the lead, which provides certain advantages. This change would in fact end up paying dividends later in his fights.
I hit with my left hand. I got him somewhere in a very hard part of his body, and that's what I hurt my hand.
You fought the rest of the fight pretty much with just your right hand.
Look it out again.
Right. 6 steps. All right hand. There you see him shake it out. He's hurt. It's still, there's 4 more rounds after this. It's still going to be.
Rapinoe tries to put pressure on him, but look at his right hand.
As a southpaw, especially against orthodox fighters, he frequently uses a long guard, constantly feinting, probing, and using his lead hand to control the opponent. From mid-range, he typically maintains a classic high guard, with a stance heavy on his front foot. He constantly uses foot feints to disrupt his opponent's rhythm and claim space.
Another jab, good 2-piece from Loma. Loma closes.
He also feints with his lead hand in circular motions. These circular motions distract and occupy space, but they also set up his rear hand,
Start the body, work your way up. Oh, beautiful!
Allowing him to transition seamlessly into guard manipulation tactics. Now, let's take a look at his best skills. Pre-emptive head movement. Lomachenko is a slow starter. At the start of fights, Lomachenko downloads data on his opponent, analysing openings, tendencies and patterns that he can later exploit.
You're in the basement.
He will do it by constantly moving his head and feinting the opponent. He will mainly use pre-slips and level changes. Against the opposite stance, he will usually pre-slip to his lead side for different reasons. The pre-slip gets the head off the center line, loads up lead hand shots like the hook, uppercut,
Figures can hold them off. That's gonna
or swivel jab,
being a counterpunch. Often no one makes him pay for that, but you see.
And can also be used to bring the straight left closer to the opponent. The pre-slip to the outside also allows him to transition into a front step shuffle, which we'll discuss later. On the other hand, level changes act as feints, already lowering his base, making it a perfect setup for a body shot. They also load up shots upstairs, often transitioning into a straight left to the head by using the momentum of the level change.
They questioned how much.
Loma will create a pattern repeating these pre-slips and level changes to exploit his opponent's reactions or lack of them.
Now he's upstairs.
If the opponent overreacts, Loma exploits it. If not, he exploits it too. In case the opponent overreacts by dropping their hands or overparrying a shot, he can exploit the reaction and use the pre-slip or level change as a setup.
When he decided to turn pro.
Lomachenko landing another bomb with the left hand.
In case there is no reaction, he will use the movement to transition to an attack.
You can see why his promoter was not scared to put him into a real fight.
As mentioned in the case of the pre-slip, it loads up his lead hand side for shots on that side, but it also gets his rear hand closer to the opponent's face, allowing him to transition to a straight left.
Acting like a fighter, the referee tells you.
The non-reaction of the opponent will also allow Loma to use the pre-slip to transition to a front step shuffle and get an angle like we will see later on. The preemptive head movement keeps his head off the center line, making it easier to remain defensively sound. But beyond his calculated setups, Lomachenko's reflexes and reactions are elite.
Fights that his opponents ever, get in their rhythm or feel comfortable, but Pedraza's in on.
All those great reactions go along with a responsible high guard, blending blocks, parries and slips into a seamless defensive system. Footwork and angles. Lomachenko has one of the fastest feet in boxing. Not only does he use his head movement and constant footwork to avoid getting pinned down, but he also has an elite ability to create and exploit angles.
Wow, what a feint, not really answering.
He has a variety of moves he uses to get around his opponents, but he will mainly use two techniques, a front step shuffle and a back step shuffle, depending on the opponent's stance. Loma's footwork is based on getting on the weak side of the opponent, which would be the lead hand side. From this side, the rear hand cannot land, and he is out of the center line. To get to the weak side, he will use the step shuffle. The front step shuffle against the opposite stance to get the weak side angle.
The fight happened, so the fighter.
Look at that move. Nice swift move again.
Lomachenko utilizing his footwork, and then
Game plan from Rodriguez. He's calm. He's getting hit.
Linares throwing and the rabbit punches.
Rosa became a pro in that fight. And it
was when he fought Gary Russell, who has incredible speed.
And he's exerting energy. You gotta
land body punches here early on. There is a left hand to the body, and see the angles of Lomachenko.
And the back step shuffle against the same stance to get the weak side angle.
It was very interesting because they told him, we want you to...
Now turns to the side.
and I like it.
Doesn't look like any other fighter.
Merging to the inside. There's that angle he always gives. And
jab up top.
Then he comes in.
It is important to mention that he can also mix them up and use a backstep shuffle against the opposite stance, for instance, and the other way around. Especially if the opponent is squared up. However, when boxing against a more open stance, he will usually follow this logic. He will usually throw volume at the opponent, forcing them into a high guard before the shuffle. When taking an angle, it is always best to get the opponent into a defensive stance to prevent counters out of position. Even more impressive is his ability to immediately exploit angles after creating them.
Nice uppercut, chopping right hand. How many more shots in there? Down he goes!
Once he gets into position, he unleashes a variety of combinations, making the most of his advantageous position.
No shortage of heart from Rodriguez, even though he doesn't have an answer.
Guard manipulation. In opposite stance matchups, the lead hand battle is always present. Vasiliy, being a converted southpaw, makes great use of his lead, using different control techniques to get past the long guard and to open up high guards. Against the long guard, he will use outside parries, down parries and up parries to get the lead hand out of the way. In this case, Lomachenko explains different ways to break the long guard: outside parry, lead hook, outside parry cross, up parry cross. The outside parry gives you a lot of control and follows the motion of the lead hook, redirecting the opponent's lead hand, getting it out the way and punching at the same time. Same can be done with a cross. The outside parry creates an opening and destabilizes the opponent, making the shot easier to land.
Got a guy like Pacquiao who starts at the extremely light. We only call what we see and see what we see, and he seems like
Guy doesn't let anything go.
Find opponents that want to come in and fight Lomachenko.
He will also use an up parry to land the cross. Similar to before, the parry will create an opening and redirect the opponent's lead hand. But he will also use guard manipulation techniques against the high guard to open it up.
And Lomachenko knows he's hurting.
In this case, Lomachenko will peel down the high guard to land hooks clean.
He was, and Bob Arum was asked a lot about that this week, and in fact,
You know, people are going to want to see this guy again, Kovalev.
The one-on Sosa up against the ropes, and a long way to go here.
Peeling can be done on both sides, but using the lead hand is usually safer, as it leaves you in a less compromised position, and can be set up with probes and jabs, as it is easy to transition from one technique to the other with the lead hand already out there.
Be thinking right now.
Beyond guard manipulation, Lomachenko is also elite at controlling his opponent's head, steering them with his lead hand after exchanges to stay defensively safe. Clinch control. Lomachenko is also exceptional at controlling the clinch in different ways.
Lomachenko continuing to tattoo the face of Rodriguez. Great combination where there turns him around.
The first one is not neglecting the opportunities presented in the clinch.
Rozier gave him the right instructions. Back him up, keep digging to the bottom
Lomachenko goes by the textbook. If one hand is free, he will use it.
But it's in a rule. But it's normal. Then you stay in the clinch and work. And then when referees say something, you need to react.
Lomachenko so accurate right here in round number 11.
and physical test.
But if he stay quiet and don't say nothing, I need still continue working. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, clinch, no clinch, I still work.
He's still in there trying, he just can't find an answer. And there's 3 left
Whenever an opponent plays the tall game and pushes his head down, he will take advantage of the lower position and throw fast combinations to the open sides of the body.
Oh, he ate a punch there. Good punch. One I expected to see.
And with the left hand.
He's not even using the jab. It's just a
Nice shot right there. Short shot.
Instead of waiting for the break, Vasiliy will remain active, punching and still using his angles.
Big uppercut by Lomachenko. Pedraza hanging out for dear life. It goes down to a knee.
Even in the clinch, he will shuffle, pivot, and turn the opponent to get angles and exploit them.
later in the fight with those back body shots. Oh, beautiful! And that is a knockdown.
Whenever he is pressuring and has momentum, he will easily break free from his opponent's over and underhooks to keep pressuring them. He will bring them close, then push them with his body.
Right back. If the ref doesn't want to do anything about it, I'm going to do something. Grounder, 4OTs. Applying all that pressure. Look at that pressure, man.
In prime form here in the 7th.
Stop.
As the opponent moves away with momentum, he will extend his arms and pull them towards him, breaking free. Other times, he will squat down again, pulling his arms towards him, breaking the hooks. When in a headlock, he also breaks easily by walking his hips under himself in a straight posture, then using his legs to lift up, either lifting the opponent or breaking the lock.
Halfway through round number 3.
All this control on the clinch allows him to exploit opportunities and deny breaks when the opponent looks for one. Punch placement. Lomachenko's offense is both fast and accurate. While he isn't a one-punch knockout artist, he throws sharp punches, mixing them with lighter shots in high-volume attacks.
He got a pop. He got pop. He ain't one punch knockout artist, but he got pop.
Unanswered from Lomachenko. And a two-punch combination. Rocky scary.
These light punches are thrown with the purpose of testing the opponent's defense without much commitment or being open for counters. He will mix up his more powerful shots after testing their defense and making sure of the openings, throwing off the opponent and breaking them down little by little.
I like boxing. I like smart. I like a lot of combination. I like eat a boxer. You know?
Beginning to loosen up and let go the punches behind him as he ducked underneath that right hand.
Two-time gold medalist. He's a two-time world champion.
And he ring IQ, Andre, as we continue of Lomachenko bobbing and weaving underneath. The anticipation. Defense is all about anticipation. Offensive, but another stellar round for the champion. Going to work on the body and
continue to throw a lot of low blows, and I'm led to believe that maybe that's it.
June 13 bout at Madison's.
I think he's got a rest. He's moving up in weight, so let's see how he looks tonight. Great combination.
Right hook, a combination puts.
What makes him even harder to read is that he doesn't load up his punches, meaning he doesn't telegraph his shots. Because there's no tell before the punch, his opponent has less reaction time, making his punches more effective. He throws a vertical jab with his thumb pointing up. It starts from a lower position and rises, similar to an uppercut, but extends straight like a jab. The vertical hand position makes it easier to split through a closed guard, making it highly effective.
It might be too early.
This left cross.
But now that we have seen Loma's best skills, let's take a look at his flaws. Flaws. As we mention in his boxing stance, Loma likes to keep a high guard and keep his weight on the front foot. Due to his physical complexion and his front foot heavy high guard stance, there are big openings on the side of his body, and some opponents have been able to exploit it, especially with the rear hook.
Of the round so far.
So that's how Max creates an offensive attack.
Try to start to write the story of the fight. Good
nice shot right there.
Now, while Lomachenko's footwork is one of the best in boxing, he does have some flaws. Whenever he gets hit, he often backs away by crosswalking on a high guard, a similar defense some boxers like Pacquiao have used in the past. This tendency has often left him out of position, vulnerable to shots.
And the counter right hand from the undisputed champ.
This fundamental flaw is also due to his own approach to footwork. As Lomachenko explains himself, he does not like to use pivots when moving around, and will instead cross his feet to angle out.
A lot of fighters doing like this. I'm bringing the foot behind it. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
While he argues for more balance,
Turn to the side and then you always be in the balance.
Crossing feet is fundamentally risky, as it leaves you without a solid base to move your waist or block solidly, and some opponents have exploited his approach.
Rounds, and what Mr. Honda did after.
Now, today, we want to test your boxing IQ. Why does Loma do this before the end of the round?
As we come to the end of round number 6 here.
Pedraza looking to answer. Lomachenko busier here in the last 30 or 40 seconds.
Time!
Oh, straight left hand by Lomachenko.
His hand is right. I'm not exactly.
There's no question it's his left hand. I hope we can hear something.
Let us know your guess on the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, you can find more on our channel. And to your left, we have chosen a video that we thought you may like.